So, hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Anthony.
Could you introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alicia Ross. I am a lifelong resident of Teaneck. Um, I live here with my wife. I raised my child here in Teaneck. We're both graduates from Teaneck High School. So I'm quite embedded in the community. I could definitely see myself, staying here for, retire in place, shelter in place. But um, it's very important to me to give back to the community and to make my environment the best it can be for everyone, not just for me, because I've been very fortunate as to, I inherited a house and a home from my parents, and you know, um, I'm doing fine for myself, but there are plenty of people in my immediate community, Teaneck, Hackensack, Englewood, other parts of Bergen County that are less fortunate. I do identify as gay, lesbian, woman. Um, I won't get into all the details of where where I could really be on the spectrum, but for all intents and purposes, I'm a gay woman. I'm married. I came out in my early 30s, so I did have a heterosexual relationship, and I have a child as a product of that relationship. Um, Teaneck is a very comfortable place to be and to raise children if you are, it's a very diverse community, not necessarily very inclusive, but it is diverse. And there are a lot of people that are trying hard to make it inclusive as well.
Mhm.
But, there are a lot of factions. As far as my my immediate community, my LGBTQ plus community, I have to say I haven't found there's not that much for my wife and I. Like, shockingly, my our neighbors are gay, two gay women. We're friendly with them, but that was just like a weird coincidence. But um, we don't have a big community, but one of the things that we do love is the fact that we live in a very open-minded area, and I think we've been able to the friendships we have are not, are with, similar to a lot of people. They're our neighbors, they're our people in our church, they're our daughter's parents, our my child's parents. And I think that's helped us. We're very out and open, and hopefully has helped influence people positively that, we're just normal people, married, taking care of a home,
Mhm.
raising a child, and such for etc. Um, I am an advisor for Rainbow Cafe of Northern New Jersey, which is a mission, an outreach project for the church that my wife and I are a member of, the Cresskill Congregational Church. It's part of United Church of Christ. And this was an endeavor by our former pastor. It's a safe space for LGBTQ plus youth, and it's been going on for a long time, like maybe not quite 10 years, but close to 10 years. And we really enjoy having these events with the kids, and just giving them a friendly face, and creating a safe space for them to just interact with each other. I mean, some of them would definitely benefit from some additional counseling services, but we are not counselors. We are creating a safe space so they can come and socialize and interact with each other. Um, but being in that space, you hear about the needs of these kids. And I'd say, um, as far as what Bergen County offers to these kids, I'd say it's not there. I mean, there's stuff in New York City, um, but I mean, we're getting the kids at Rainbow Cafe
Yeah.
that mostly do have the ability to have confided in a parent to take them to this to over to Cresskill and be a part of this. But I venture to guess there is a lot of youth that we're not seeing that do not have a place to go. And I'd say is my biggest concern are the youth
Yeah.
and the youth wherever they fall on the spectrum, they're not cisgendered, heterosexual, you know, kids. And, wherever they fall on that spectrum of not being, cisgendered or heterosexual,
Mhm.
they can use, um, they need a safe and friendly and comforting spot to go. And parents who really want to help their kids through this challenging time, because it does get better, but you still have to get through those adolescent years. And when you're in a big environment, in public school or private school or wherever you're doing homeschool, um, you need to find your people, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. So I think that the services um, offered here in Bergen County are definitely probably, they're lacking.
Yeah.
And, even we had a PFA flag chapter, but I think that, we need a centralized something that helps get parents the right information that they need to get the help they need for their kids.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And so I'm taking it you're for an LGBT center. And
Yeah. I mean, I am definitely for it because I mean, my biggest concern are the kids, but there are oodles and oodles of other, you know, folks intersecting with the LGBTQ plus space, whether they be folks that are struggling economically, folks that are ill, folks that are are victims of domestic violence or sexual abuse or, just various injustices. There's a space. I mean, they need a place to go, and I think in this day and age when, you know, we it is feasible to put together something virtually as a starting point, to give somebody, to point somebody in a direction. If I go to Google and I type in, LGBTQ plus help Bergen County, you know, I shouldn't have to, I shouldn't have to do like massive, in-depth, different Google searches to find the right thing
exactly. And
to help my kids.
that's a real a thing that people don't quite get is just researching it. And it's like if you have youth who may not be as savvy, or an older person who may not be as savvy with computer as to how to get that access, it should be user friendly. It should be right there in your face. You shouldn't have to search and search through all this stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it shouldn't be just like, I work with buddies. Buddies shouldn't be the only place that pops up. It should be, this is a centralized, and we can help you find all that information. You
Yeah.
know.
And folks assume that because we're so close to New York City that, oh, we don't need it here because New York City is so close. But, that's a very different animal. And I don't think I think parents would feel a lot more comfortable having something closer to home. Um, I know when I
That's
was,
behind the fact that, that's putting a tax on gay people because they have to travel there. So
Mhm.
you have to pay to get services. And then you're paying for, you're paying taxes for your own county. Why are you going to a different state and
Yeah.
that you won't most likely get services for. You may get some insurance, but even still, your insurance company really is set up to help you within the location that you geographic location you live. So you're
Mhm.
going to have less, services there, even if you did have insurance that will extend over there. It's not, that's not, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on this, but it's like every person says, we have New York, like that's an answer. That's not really an answer. That
No,
really is.
it's not. And last I looked, the next closest is in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Though I'm sure there's some things down in Newark or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's Hudson Pride, there's in Newark, but even still, why are we going to, if we are paying taxes for our county, why are we going to other counties to receive services?
Yeah,
I mean, and that just that level there, but never mind, the expectation is like, oh, you can go there, but that's 4 hours out of your day traveling and waiting for when, normally you have a doctor's appointment that's like an hour, or a
yeah,
half hour, so that's a real big ask on people to do something like that. And especially when we do have some services here and we do have that are available, why are we not promoting and helping those businesses and such, that are doing that work to thrive within our own county?
agree. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're for LGBT Center.
yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
So I mean, is there anything else you would like to mention with this is your space? So is there anything else you want to bring to the table?
I just think that, folks that are needing an extra hand, you know, like I said, whether it be because their kids are struggling, because they're ill, with something that, whether they're dealing with domestic violence. I mean, there are people that just have a lot already on their plate. And I would really like to see um it just not be so difficult to get what you need, the support you need. I really feel coming out of the pandemic that we need to take better care of our communities. There needs to be more mutual aid efforts
Yeah.
of people looking out for each other. And you know it's not about like just charity. It's about people looking out for each other and learning how to help each other. And I think we need these kind of like centers
Yeah.
of, whether, and they can focus on, the groups of people out there, the demographics that, need that extra hand, and they can be um like these places, these kind of like what's the word I want to think tanks,
Mhm.
places that can be espousing on, the positivity of, helping each other, just changing the dynamic that we've had in our culture for so long that, I think this last year has really woken a lot of people up
Yeah.
that it's just not working, you
Yeah.
know? It's just not working. There's no safety net. And I could get into a whole anti-capitalist rant, but I'm not gonna do that now.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, it's like this year, immediately when the lockdown happened, there was how many people who are in the closet that are struggling coming out of the closet with their family and dependent on their family, young children, and who have verbally or physically abusive parents because they're coming out. And then imagine having to go through a lockdown
Yeah.
and have no Zoom, no connection to the outside world, and having to experience that. And that could be at any age, mind you. You can be older and then having to deal with that as well. You could be married and then having to deal with that and then be forced into that situation. And that's happened a lot this year.
Yeah.
And, and then also thinking, within our culture, LGBT culture, we weren't allowed to get married. We weren't allowed to build family or generational wealth or any of that kind of stuff. We just had to live off the side or give pieces of our soul and, fit in with the mainstream, you know. So we have large amounts of people who don't have any family background or are getting older and they're alone. And, I think personally, as a responsibility to our community, we need to take care of them. They weren't able to build that, protect the safety net for themselves.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
there's a need, and I don't think people are looking at it in that kind of way, you know. So I agree with you.
Yeah. I definitely, would like to do whatever I can to just help people create spaces where people can help to take care of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything bleeds into everything else. It's not all just LGBT. It's
Mm,
everything bleeds into everything else, and it's just let's just do good.
yeah, exactly. Amen.
So let me ask you, you feel comfortable with everything that was spoken through this interview?
Yeah, I think so. How about you?
No, absolutely. I just
Yeah,
want to make sure to give you that space. Also, are you aware that this is being recorded and will be used on a web page to be made public at some point? Do you give consent?
I do.
Awesome. And you can always at any time, you'll have access to where it's going to be and everything, and say, hey, I want to take it down. For any reason or no reason, I'll honor that. Just allow me some time to do that.
Yes, sure. That's fine.
So yeah, I think we're done. So if you want to say goodbye to everyone.
Bye, everyone. Let's hope that when you're viewing this, that, every day has gotten a little better.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.